Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil and it's time to talk Taskmaster. And it's going to be another awesome episode, but first off, let me apologize. In all likelihood, this video came out a little later than I would have liked, than you would have liked. I'm reacting to this the moment it's appeared on YouTube, but immediately after I react to this, I do have a family engagement that's going to occupy me for the rest of the evening. In all likelihood, I'm not going to be able to start editing this until the morning, and so it's probably a little later than you would have liked. I apologize for that. Thank you for your patience. I'm really psyched to jump into this because it's been an excellent series so far. The cast have been really inspired. I love that everybody's taking the competition side of things so seriously, and yet they're still having a ton of fun. It's still a very entertaining series beyond the competition. And yes, I'm a geek for the competitive side of it. I'm a geek for the points and the strategy and the loopholes and all of that, but not at the expense of the comedy. And dang if it isn't funny this year. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know any of the cast other than Ivo, just a smidge. But I didn't really know. I knew of Frankie Boyle. I didn't know him at all. I really appreciate his sense of humor, even though from what I'm hearing in the comments, this is a much softer Frankie Boyle than you guys may be used to in other shows. Jenny Eclair has been a revelation. I love her attitude, her energy. She's so much fun. She just seems to be delighted that she's on a show like this. May, she's got a fanboy in me for life. And Kiell, man, there aren't a lot of contestants that have been as serious about the show and yet as bad at the show as him. And to be fair, a lot of that is subjective scoring, and you have to feel that maybe Greg's doing it because you can see the rise that it gets out of Kiell when he does poorly in a task. It's really super entertaining. I'm having so much fun with this series. I can't wait to see what this episode's all about. So let's jump right into it, shall we? This is episode 7 of series 15 of Taskmaster. 157, Schrödinger's egg. Oh, such a mysterious title card.
One of them came to my dressing room last night, hot tears streaming down their face. I want this more than I've ever wanted anything before. I want to make my family proud. Please, Greg. Please don't take this from me, please.
Frankie Boyle.
Now, I would never reveal that person's identity, but I'll say this. Don't be silly. Of course you'll be able to show your face in Scotland again.
You get a lot of stick from people for being mean to me. Well, you're very nice. 4 months ago, Greg gave me a watch. It's really nice.
Okay. What's the joke?
I haven't got you anything, but you may do what you may with me.
Put your tongue out.
Oh no. Ow.
And this week the category is the most brilliant thing that pops up.
I hope no one brought a toaster.
Obviously, anyone who's brought a toaster in,
Yep.
get ready for no points. Ivo, hello.
Hello, Greg. It's, of course, the game of whack-a-mole with a bespoke Taskmaster twist.
Oh.
He's done this.
There we are. Not too proud not to put myself in the whack-a-mole. I suffer, as we all shall, at the hands of the bat.
It feels mid-range at this stage.
The Japanese format of whack-a-mole, Magura Tataki, Mole Smash, is popular worldwide. And now it's got our faces on it. 5 points, please.
Oh, I love Ivo.
You remember what you said about toasters?
Oh no.
Bear with me. A Pop-Tart. But no, wait.
Yeah,
But no wait.
On the Pop-Tart is the most brilliant mind, Professor Brian Cox.
It's the most brilliant thing that pops up.
Are you a fan of Professor Brian Cox?
I think he's fit, yeah. No, I respect his mind.
All you're gonna see is my burning face. Do you like David Bowie?
I don't mind him.
Wow.
Did you hear that noise? The audience loved it.
Greg. Come on.
I don't mind it.
The lineage from Oscar Schlemmer to Bowie is all in the Bauhaus movement.
Yeah. That's why these people came here, Jenny.
Yes.
Schlemmer crazy, these people.
Fiends for Schlemmer.
And a pogo stick.
We found our level.
Schlemmer on a pogo.
I have brought something that pops up regularly in my house. I've tried to throw it out of my house, I think on 3 occasions. And it always returns, and I've ended up just hanging it on the wall in my living room.
Yep.
Here it is.
Awful. But I sort of love it. Who's putting it up?
The children deny. But they're not trustworthy.
1 point to May.
Pogo stick, 2 points. Oh, book, lazy, 3 points. May, you're right. It's inconsistent.
It's fine.
4 to Ivo.
And that painting doesn't deserve any praise, but weirdly it's getting 5 points.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think we're under a directive to keep May's score down a little because they're running away with it.
Rotate the pulp or wheel without pulping the egg.
You must not move from this spot at any point. If you pulp the egg, you are disqualified.
Pulp the egg.
Most rotations wins.
You have
Where's
a
the egg?
maximum of 10 minutes.
This is a pulper. Right. And the egg's in it. Where? You're going to have to say your time starts now.
The time starts now.
So presumably there's an egg in there, but if you can't see it,
I've met that boy so many times.
What, inside?
In the mouth of the pulper.
Where's that?
I can't tell you any more.
But I want to see.
it's in a basket. Is it
You have to
is
take
it
my word for it.
hanging? Is it suspended?
Blind Schrödinger's egg.
That's exactly what it is.
So
Schrodinger's
what's the
egg.
process? That?
Oh, I hear the egg.
Sort of return.
Do you reckon that was the egg?
Does it sound like an egg?
Maybe you just go as fast as you can because the egg's in no danger. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So.
1 rotation.
I mean, it can't be pulped if it's making that much noise.
Is there any danger to it at all? It looks like it's winding up on a spool.
I don't think that was the egg.
I wonder if it goes faster, it's less likely to break.
Let's find out. Okay. Yeah. Frankie's on a. I feel like there's a catastrophic moment here, though. Yeah. Oh, well, what happens when it gets to the top?
We're on 8.5 rotations.
Oh, 8.5 weeks.
Stopping there?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
It's gone.
You stopping there?
Yeah, it's gone.
2 3/4 rotations.
All right.
This is the first time they've seen the interior of
Oh.
the pulper. So they were blind, obviously.
I put it to you, Kiell, that throughout the task, and indeed when you left, you didn't know what was going on.
I still don't know what pulper is.
That's the egg. I haven't really done a single rotation yet, have I?
No.
Oh, fuck it, pulp the egg! It's not under pulp it! I'm not gonna win anyway!
There's no way that egg is not pulped. Did you pulp the egg?
Eight.
8 rotations.
Oh, we're running out. We're running out.
I want 10.
You want 10? Okay,
Yeah.
10 rotations.
Oh, it's going to be too many.
It's smashed, isn't it? The egg's smashed.
It's 11.
Stop.
I
Stop.
think an egg could survive this.
No. Ah! Oh. It's still going.
I'm still on 13. Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, it makes me think
Thanks, Jenny.
May's about to break as well.
Just 30 seconds.
Stop!
I would
Stop!
just kill myself if I hadn't pulped it and I stopped turning.
Stop! Ah! Yeah.
Kiell is still in 2nd place.
And sometimes it doesn't matter if you don't understand the task.
So what did Ivo do that's interesting? But he's getting around to the...
Are you now better informed?
No, I wish I hadn't seen all this really.
You've got 5 minutes left.
Yep.
Well done, Ivo. That should count, right? Turn the pulper as much as you can without pulping the egg. Keep going.
10 seconds.
Why are... Well done, sir. Well done.
I think there was immense dignity watching my body spasm with a glove egg in my mouth.
So it wasn't cheating?
You just have to stay on the spot at all times.
Oh, shit. Why didn't I think of that?
Really clearly rotated it more than anyone else. 56 times. So Jenny and May don't get any points. Apologies. 3 points to Kiell, 4 to Frankie, but of course 5 to Ivo Graham.
Nice. This is Ivo and Frankie in joint lead.
Frankie and Ivo are in the joint leading spots, 9 points each.
Oh, and ooh. Oh. Oh, this is going to be the candies. Oh my God, what's going on with it? Oh, this is going to be such a puzzle of a task. This feels like we're 3/4 of the way to an escape room.
This has gone a bit S&M-y.
Okay.
Hello.
Ooh.
It's you first.
Me?
Oh. Oh, we have to cuff one
Do we
another.
have a safe word?
Well, I've been arrested, obviously, but I haven't done sex games with these.
Jelly babies.
1, 2, 3, 4 different
So no,
flavors.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so the flavors correspond to the periodic table of the elements
Completely free
somehow,
yourselves and have a team
which
hug.
corresponds to the
Fast team
codes
hug
on the...
wins.
Okay.
There's a 1 on here, and is there another number on this one?
This is 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Johnny Eclair's the chirpiest S&M'er I've ever met.
There's a key here.
Fletch, come on.
That's definitely impossible.
Okay.
So let's think for a minute.
I'm going to count.
Okay, so these are different flavoured jelly babies.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my life.
6.
I think it might be chicken feet.
And then
But
we're going to
they're
have
not
to use
numbered.
those.
Those aren't numbered.
But that will correspond with the periodic table somehow.
How?
What about anything?
Love your
I need to
How?
know.
Wasabi. Okay.
Wait, but what do you mean okay? Like, okay, and then what?
Now
It's going to
what?
correspond with
How?
like maybe the initials of it. What's W?
Tungsten.
74.
Yeah.
It's mint and gravy.
So you had wasabi.
Okay, so... Oh, okay.
Mg, which is magnesium.
And what number?
12.
Okay. So 1, 2, 7, 4.
7.
Kyle does not want to taste these.
You can do it.
Hold on, May, if I do it one by one, because at
That's
some
really
point...
clever.
Yeah, there's if you're down to just 10 options.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
What was it?
This is definitely pepper and beetroot.
Oh, that's definitely beetroot.
Lead, 82.
Look at them. They figured it out. This is how you do it.
Hey!
Nice. Oh, okay. And that makes sense. The key is for the third set of handcuffs, because otherwise they'd have to do more tasting than the guys.
That has been edited very, very nicely in my favour. Because I was a monster.
17 minutes 50.
That doesn't seem terrible. That's a fairly complicated task.
Both have a 5?
Sure, okay.
Why are you starting at 5?
That's quite unpleasant, isn't it? Fine, it is broccoli, I think.
Okay.
Number 4 is hot. Could be cumin and radish.
Cumin and radish.
So if we took that as 5. Yeah, see our code.
Yeah, but you're
24.
you're going
How
backwards.
does that help? Why don't we add 2 and 4 together to make 6?
No.
I reckon if you just laid out the 10 numbers, the first 5 would be padlock 1 and the second 5 would be padlock 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's complicated things. I think both the padlocks will be the same.
No.
8-2 would give us 10, which is a 2-digit number, which is no use.
Yeah.
to us 5-digit.
Frankie,
Adding those numbers together.
why are you adding them?
I've got so much respect for you, Frankie, but I
But-
don't think it's adding the numbers together. I've never thought that. 1, 2, 7, 4. Broccoli, B, so the last number is O.
Yes!
Get ready to hug Frankie. There's the 1 Here comes the 6.
You're not completely free.
Oh.
Right.
Oh no! They can't find the key! No!
Here.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's right there above the periodic table.
How much time did they spend looking for the key?
So, you know, a lot of plane crashes happen because the co-pilot is too scared to say to the brash pilot, look, we're going to hit the fucking ground here. And I was that guy.
This is the face?
Yeah.
42 minutes.
No! 42!
I can't give them any more than 2 points for that.
All right.
Yeah, 5 and 2. That seems appropriate. That evens things up a little.
Write down a number between 0 and 100.
Oh, this will be our
Length of time between
157.
1 minute and 20 minutes.
5 ingredients.
A country, a noun.
And an adjective.
Oh, and then what do I have to do with it?
4 minutes, 20 seconds. What's the meaning of life?
21 seconds.
Oh.
1 minute and 21 seconds. Sausage, ketchup, bun, mustard, grilled onions. You know what that means. Hot dog.
Yeah, that's a hot dog.
And cannellini beans.
Duck.
Duck.
Shoe.
Dog.
Bench.
What is this all about?
Is this a trick?
Now what? Okay, what's part 2? What's part 2?
Make a splendid Guatemalan duck.
Make a feisty French duck.
You must use all these ingredients and you must also clap 80 times.
And you must also clap 42 times. You have 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
You have 19 minutes.
Okay.
Your time starts now.
I could have picked any noun, and I picked duck, so which is a food.
8, 9, 80.
That would be good news if any of this was
Time's a wasting.
Christ, the time.
Yeah.
That's a duck. Really good.
1 minute. Garlic up that duck.
I think I've just got to do it.
A splendid Guatemalan duck.
Bonjour, Alex. Why is he French?
Well, the garlic is obviously doing some pretty heavy lifting. But I did forget to do all my claps.
Yeah, that's good.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I got.
They gave themselves 19 minutes, so smart.
Did you think the end result was splendid?
Actually, Alex went back for a second bite. It was not that bad, was it?
He'll eat anything though. The man.
All of that is true.
You won't eat anything, will you, Alex? Didn't see you sort of tucking into my... Niftily moving that spot around the pulper feels a long time ago now.
It does make me feel quite sorry for you sometimes when you grip your head, like a chimpanzee whose habitat is under threat.
Please sum up your break for me in one word.
Plop.
Make a large Scottish dog.
Make a cowering Kenyan bench.
Make a bold German shoe.
For 1 minute and 25 seconds.
2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
Yeah, Frankie and Kiell are kind of hoops here.
There is a gold shoe outside.
Turn that hot dog into planks. Slice it horizontally.
That goes in there like that.
Oh, she's got a golden shoe. This will not be edible.
Look, there's the St Andrew's flag there.
Oh, to show that it's Scottish. Yeah, but what's showing that it's a dog?
It's difficult to see with the human eye, but on every part of those grilled onions, it says Nairobi.
Oh, very nice.
Is it?
This might be my perfect meal.
Just was trying my best. I know that you're going to tell me something that's so awful. I don't think I clapped. I don't think I fucking clapped. I think I clapped. Did I clap? I didn't
Jenny,
clap.
not only did you not clap, you finished with 1 minute to go and sat down.
Was Jenny's chili nice?
The task wasn't really about whether it tasted nice. I didn't have to eat them. It
I
was
was just making conversation, you bell end. would give the people who didn't clap 1 charity point.
So the top row, Frankie, Ivo and Jenny, all 1 point.
And the other 2, I am more impressed by the bench. I am.
The time is your degree of difficulty, and Kiell certainly painted himself into a corner, and he rose to the occasion. Luckily, he only had to clap 7 times.
Say the word given to you by the Taskmaster in the accent on the card you choose.
Uh-oh.
What's the first word, Greg?
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster.
Where is May from?
Swedish?
Scotland.
Oh.
Let's see on the card.
Was it Scott? Wales?
Taskmaster.
New Zealand. New Zealand. I suck at accents, but that's New Zealand.
What's the country, Kiell?
New Zealand.
Taskmaster.
Norwegian.
Sweden.
It's so close.
It is so close.
But not this
Taskmaster?
Canadian.
Is Disney a country?
I think is he doing a May impersonation?
American in there. America?
Sorry, May.
Canada.
Close.
Sort of is generic America, isn't it?
Oh.
Taskmaster.
He's from Ireland.
So now I'm going to give you a city.
Gregory Daniel Davies.
Good.
Okay, it's got to be Glasgow.
It is
Yeah.
Glasgow.
Mr. Gregory Daniel Davies.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
Nice. Well done.
Gregory? Daniel Davies?
What? What on earth?
It's the only one I can't do.
I mean, Moscow.
Twinned with.
Was that supposed to be Geordie?
Mr. Gregory Daniel Davis.
Street tough New Yorker. I'm sticking with it, New York.
I'm
No.
always trying to be street tough.
No, that wasn't a great New York, but I get what he was going for.
Mr. Gregory Daniel Davies.
Absolutely easy. Belfast.
Easy impressionist.
I wouldn't know what makes a Belfast accent, but okay.
This time it's walking.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's gotta be Jenny.
Jenny Eclair.
Are we correct?
Yeah.
Is everyone doing it, Jenny?
Poor Jenny again.
He's become poor Jenny. He's correct.
I know that subservient gait.
It's Ivo.
That's Horne.
Yes!
That was Alex? Okay. I suck at this.
Jenny Eclair.
When does this cross into bullying?
I've already lost the episode. I just wanted to have a go at it.
Oh, lovely.
Is
I
that
think Frankie was doing Kiell.
or is that
Hey,
Oh,
Martin.
I thought he was doing Greg. Okay.
We have a new winner. Never guess who it is.
Frankie.
With 20 points. It's Kiell Smith.
Oh. What do I know? Oh yeah, that's right. Frankie did bad on the team task. Nice.
In the latest show with Mo Gilligan.
Oh, don't break yourself. Oh man, I suck at impersonations and accents, and I just did terrible in that last task. My face blindness clearly extends beyond just faces. It's weird because I have a funny feeling that when this series is over and you look back at all the episodes, this may end up being one of the less memorable episodes. And yet, as far as I'm concerned, every task was really fun. There were lots of funny moments. I just don't know if there was a mind-blowingly memorable moment this task. and yet it was still so much fun. There's just something really kind of special about Series 15. And I do think it has to do with the cast. But let's go through the tasks, shall we? So our prize task was the most brilliant thing that pops up. And I do think May was unnecessarily punished for this one, although it hurts that Greg even prefaced the task with, I hope there's no toasters, and then May delivered not a toaster per se, but a Pop-Tart sitting in a toaster. It wasn't a good look. But Professor Brian Cox is a nice spin on the most brilliant thing that pops up. But I do think there's a bit of a directive, and I don't know whether this is something that the producers tell Greg or whether it's something Greg just sort of consciously or subconsciously does himself. But at this stage of the season, you've got a pretty good idea of, well, you know how people are doing relative to one another, and we're running out of episodes for comebacks to occur. So you want to keep things close so that there's some suspense going into the grand final. And if I'm not mistaken, May had a healthy lead at the end of episode 6. So maybe there's a bit of a directive to score them a little more harshly this episode. Maybe. Just putting it out there that that's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that could be a thing. That being said, I really liked Ivo's whack-a-mole. Also, especially his extra information about the Japanese source of the game and the bespoke nature of this particular set. Frankie is sticking with the painting thing for every task, which I do think is fun and different. That particular one was a bit of a stretch as to fitting with the brief of the episode, but if it does legitimately keep popping up in his house, even after he's tried to get rid of it. We had the same thing in our household. There was an African drum in our house that repeatedly went to the church sale a couple of times and was gifted back to us by like Secret Santas, and like it came like sometimes there's these objects your household cannot escape. So I get it, but I'm not sure it deserved the win there. The pogo stick, sure, fun, fine, but there's nothing unique about it. It's just a bought object, and I like where Jenny's mind is going with the pop-up book, but I think it's too literal an interpretation of the brief, and it's got to be a really freaking spectacular pop-up book if you want it to succeed, especially this series, because I think people have really come to play seriously with the prize tasks here in Series 15. In other times, you know, there's a few people that just sort of don't put a lot of thought and time and effort into it. This series is not that one. Then we had what was the name of that machine? Well, hang on.
Rotate the pulp wheel without pulp.
So the next task was don't pulp the egg inside the giant pulper wheel. And this is a brilliant task. I never would have thought of something like this in a million years, but it's kind of brilliant because people have no idea what to expect other than the fact that it's a giant piece of industrial machinery and it spins. And presumably there's an egg inside it. And any amount of spinning makes all this racket and stuff. Massive kudos to Ivo for figuring out a way to get around and see what was going on and to rescue the egg and to come back and crush it by getting enough spins in. Frankie, frankly, played it really, really well, and luckily, like he just decided the right time to stop was like 8.5, and as evidenced by by May and Jenny, there weren't a lot more turns in it before things would go off. You got about 10 with safety, and then that 11th turn led to your egg's demise. But brilliantly designed, brilliant of Ivo to find a way around it. I'm so glad that we are at the stage of this show where there isn't really any debate as to whether that's cheating or not. No, Ivo just figured out the loophole and used it to his advantage, and everyone's cool with that. And I love that. I love that that's expected and applauded as opposed to controversial at this stage in the show. A lot of fun to watch. Then we had our team task. And this one really did feel like an escape room, didn't it? There were codes on the walls and padlocks that needed to be cracked, and it was just a lot of fun. And massive kudos again to May and Jenny for figuring out what needed to be done pretty darn quickly, for having what appear to be very solid taste buds, because we've had this similar type challenges many times before on this show where it's like figure out the flavor of the ice cream or whatnot, but it's always a combination of two flavors, and it's very rare that people get both. Now obviously there's a big advantage in having the menu printed out so that you can see your options, so to speak. And if you know that broccoli is an option and the thing that you just tasted green and kind of cabbage family-y, then you go, oh, yeah, that could be broccoli. Where it may never even have occurred to you if you didn't have that word presented to you as an option. But then translating that to the table of elements, getting your numbers, figuring out the right way to do it. A shame that Ivo really was in the co-pilot role on that team, and he deferred to Frankie for so long before positing a different theory that was certainly the right one. That's a shame. What I really wanted to know from that task, though, was how long did it take Frankie and Ivo, once they had figured out the combinations and gotten free of the padlocks, how much time did they spend hunting for that key to unlock their handcuffs? I don't think it was a trivial amount of time. I don't think they showed the entire search on the edit there. It is interesting hearing about the edit on the show, though. And kudos to Kiell for admitting that that was a very flattering edit that they showed of the team of three. That he could have come off much worse in the edit if they so chose. But they chose to be, play up the fact that he was just kind of squeamish about tasting stuff as opposed to the self-described monster that he was. But it does make you curious about an alternate cut. Is there a director's cut of Taskmaster episodes floating around there? Various scenes. I'll keep an eye out for this task in the next round of Series 15 outtakes. That could be a lot of fun. Then, what was our final in-house task? Yes, the MadLibs. So what did you have to provide? You had to provide a time between 0 and 20 minutes. My instinct would be to split the difference and go with 10 minutes, I think. I feel like too extreme either way could really paint yourself into a corner. So that would be my first thought. 10 minutes. Boring, but safe. Then you had to give a number between 0 and 100. And again, I'd probably do what Frankie did and be about in the middle. Maybe not 50 on the nose, but again, I'd feel very exposed if I went very high or very low. Kiell got really lucky by saying 7, but Jenny would have had to clap 80 times if she remembered to do so. Which isn't to say it can't be done, it's just more effort, more work. Like, imagine if Kiell had given himself a really high number in addition to his really low time. Suddenly, more than half of his allotted time is spent just clapping. But he went low on both, and he got lucky. 5 ingredients begs to be something that needs to be cooked. That begs to be a food-related task. This seems to be... There's always a cooking task every series. And if there hasn't been one every series, it's been close. Right since the very first series. Let's somehow give them a task that puts the contestants in the kitchen. So I don't think it's a stretch to say the time that you're picking is the time you have to cook your ingredients. That seems to be a logical, straightforward leap. That's not a big stretch to come to that conclusion. So think of 5 ingredients that can be prepped quickly in the time you've given yourself. That feels like not a lock for what's going to happen, but it feels like a good bet. And then you have to just a random noun, a random country, and a random adjective. By default, I think I would say Canada if I was a Canadian performing on British television. I'd just have a moment of patriotism there. But as for what noun and adjective I may select, like, who freaking knows? And I wouldn't know at all how that would relate to the rest of the task. It's all kind of obvious and straightforward once you get the reveal, but I think, you've only got 3 minutes to write down these things, so you don't have enough time to really strategize too much. You're just kind of operating on instinct, and you're rushed for time, so, you're sort of stuck creating whatever you can think of at the end. It's always a little disappointing when too many people get disqualified. And it seems like a task where you shouldn't be disqualified. Like the clapping thing didn't seem too onerous. It feels like the thing you should just do as soon as you finish reading it while you're thinking about what else you're going to do. Just make sure you get your claps in right off the top. Painful for Jenny, who finished with a minute to spare and then just sat down instead of getting her 80 claps in. You can certainly clap 80 times in a minute. That's not a chance. That's completely doable. She could have salvaged her task there. But it goes to show what disqualification does to a contestant in an episode, because this was Frankie's episode to lose, in my opinion. Even with the poor showing in the team task that he and Ivo put in. But disqualifying yourself in this cooking task as well, and you're just behind the 8 ball. That's too much ground to make up. Because, 3 people disqualified, that means 3 zeros, a 5, and a 4. And that's the kind of task that really puts some distance between contestants. Certainly within an episode, and quite possibly for the entire series. Or draws, there's some real movement possible with a task like that, because Frankie was crushing the accents in the final task. He could have won this thing. He came second despite the disqualification and the poor team task. It was his task. It was his episode to lose. He had 3 wins, 3 task wins this episode, and he only gets a second out of it because of that disqualification. It's hard. At this point, he's the only contestant not to have won an episode, I believe. May's definitely won. Ivo, Jenny, and now Kiell. Yeah, all the others have won. So Frankie's the last one not to reach the stage, which is weird, because I think he's certainly middle of the pack in the standings. We haven't seen them in an episode or two, but it's not like he's the worst contestant on the show, not by a long shot. So I hope he gets his win before the series is over. The live task. Man, I suck at accents. I swear, every time I hear a Scottish accent, I think it's something else, and not even close to Scottish or Welsh, apparently. I'm thinking Scandinavian. I'm thinking Australia. Like my mind just doesn't process that stuff well, and I'd be hooped trying to do different UK city accents. Like I know Cockney, and like I know Scottish enough to say it's either Glaswegian or Edinburgh, but I couldn't tell you which is which. I know there's plenty of cities that have really distinct accents, whether it's Birmingham or Newcastle, whether it's Liverpool or what. But I couldn't imitate those accents, and B, I don't think I could listen to those accents and say that's definitely Geordie, that's Brummie, that's Liverpudlian, like. And Belfast, like I always figured Northern Ireland just had an accent that was slightly less Irish than Irish, with a hint of Scottish in there. Because isn't that where the Scottish Catholics went? Didn't they go to Northern Ireland? Isn't that how? No. The Scottish Protestants went to Northern Ireland. Or my British history sucks. Before 1900. But I certainly wouldn't go, oh, that's a Belfast accent. I find it interesting that Greg can pick out like an LA accent, for instance, because LA is such a melting pot of a city that I don't think most North Americans would say, oh, that's an LA accent, unless you put a real surfer spin on it. Similarly, a New York accent, the only way to really sort of make it clear that this is New York is kind of put that really strong Brooklyn accent on it, almost mobster. But then you're really playing up sort of the movie tropes. And Alex calling Canadian accent basically generic American is just... those are fighting words, Alex. It was smart of Ivo to try and imitate May, because I get it. There's not a lot of distinction between an American and Canadian accent, but there's definitely some shibboleth words in there which are instant tells. And I know you were supposed to just say Taskmaster or Greg's full name, but you could probably slip in a boot in there and, at least trigger the thought. I don't know. Anyway, I would have sucked at that task completely. And even imitating the other people in the show, like I was pretty sure May was doing Jenny, but I wasn't positive. I'm like, who else? Like, you don't see them walking too much. You see them standing a lot, and you see them sitting in their chairs a lot. You don't necessarily see them walking a lot. I wouldn't have thought Jenny, I would never have guessed that she was doing Alex. I thought maybe she was doing Ivo. Frankie's impersonation of May was very generic. There didn't seem to be a lot of distinguishing characteristics there at all. But then I can't say I've watched May walk a lot, so I can't say if that's not the case. Jenny's easy to imitate because she's got such a unique posture and she's very handsy, and that's easy. Man, I don't know. I just know I would have sucked at that task. I would have certainly come fifth, but it was a lot of fun to watch. And congrats to Kiell for finally winning an episode. You could tell he was thoroughly, properly, legitimately happy that he won. And that's going to tighten up the scores. It's going to make things more interesting as we head into the final weeks. I still think May's probably in the lead, but not by as much as the start of this episode. And we've only got 3 episodes left. Anything can still happen. So whoever your favorite is, they've got a chance. That's how I feel at this point. And let's cross our fingers that Frankie wins an episode before it's all said and done. But thank you guys so much for spending a little bit of time with me here today on Neil Talks. Thank you for all the feedback and the comments. Thank you for doing all the fun algorithm things. It really does help the channel out more than you know. If you want to see my full-length reactions to Taskmaster, don't forget to check out my Patreon. And until next week, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.